वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप आद सच जुगाद सच है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच। वाहेगुरु 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 वाहेगुरु। तिन वेदियन की कुल बिखे प्रगटे नानक राय सब सिखन को सुख देहे जेते भय सहाय सब सिखन को सुख देहे जेते भय सहाय। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। Okay, last week we started some of the Amrit Sanchar and the history of it. So this week we're going to carry on, but we're not going to get to the Kakars and the Bajar Kreta. So in an Amrit Sanchar, before you do the Amrit Sanchar, you have to have a selection for the Panj Pyare. Now in terms of selecting the Panj Pyare, they have to be Rehat one Sengs. Yeah, so people, Sengs who are actually practicing the Rehat, they have to have the Panj Bani off by heart. Someone's asked if they can read the Baniya from a Gatka on the Batta. That is completely wrong. Yeah, so some Jathabandiya in the world do that, and you've got photos on the internet where you can find people who have got smartphones out on the Batta and reading from a phone. Yeah, that's actually wrong. Yeah, so you're not allowed to do that really, Hannah. That's just, so that basically shows that the Panj Pyare haven't got the Baniya Kant. They can't do it from memory, and they should be able to do it from memory. That's the whole point of the Rehat. And I was going to say something else, so I was pausing, but I'm not going to say now. Alright, keeping Panj Kakari Rehat, so they keep the Panj Kakar at all times on them. They're not committed any in the Char Bajar Kreta, so the four major sins, yeah, that a Sikh can't commit. Yeah, we'll go into that later. And to be doing their daily Nitnem, that's the Satabani, Panjabani in the morning, Reras at night, and Sola at night as well. Yeah. Now the selection of those Panj Pyare is usually done locally in line with whoever's organising that Amrit Sanchar. And I've done Seva Panj Pyare myself in Amrit Sanchars, and I know how other Jathabandiyas do it, and it's basically who your mates are. I'm not going to lie. Yeah? So it's who you're friends with and who you know has got good rate. That's how they do it. There's no selection process where a Godura gets a Sangat together and says, how much party you do, how much Nithanem do you do. I've never seen that happen. So it all falls down to whoever's organising the Amrit Sanchar. So that can be very dubious at points as well, where you get these practices of reading the Baniya from a Gotka or from a phone, or even not reading all the Baniya. Yeah, so things like that happen as well, where people might read the Baniya on the Batta, and people think they haven't taken Amrit, and they've come back to Amrit Sanchar to take Amrit again, because they don't feel that they took Amrit, because the full Baniya weren't read. Now, conducting an Amrit Sanchar, you have to have Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji present. You cannot do an Amrit Sanchar without Maharaj present. Yeah. Now, in terms of what's needed there, in terms of the smuggery, this is what we call the smuggery in terms of what's needed in terms of conducting the Amrit Sanchar, so the items that are needed. So you need batte. Now, batte are sarabalo there, so it's utensils, you could say, are made out of pure iron, but the batte are usually like a cauldron is the best word I can say in English. Yeah, but if you think of the deg, the batte, you know, we give deg at prashad. They usually steel their batte, but the sarablo ones are pure iron, so they rust a lot easier and they're heavier. So you have to have a number of batte to do an Amrit Sanchar. One's for the Amrit the batta, but then you have to have other small batte as well on top of that to conduct the Amrit Sanchar, to make it, to do the whole ceremony. And then you have to have other items possibly made out of sarablo as well. So you might have a garva to keep the water in and other things. You have to have patasse. In the UK now we do have patasse made by a Seng, and also Nishkam, they make their own patasse as well. Yeah, so you don't have to get Bajari patasse in the UK, you can do it. We have got Sengs who make them now. You need water, obviously, for the Amrit Sanchar. Now the water, depending on where you're doing the Amrit Sanchar in the world, has to be pavitra, has to be pure. So we've done Amrit Sanchars in Europe and stuff, and we've had to use bottled water because the tap water isn't seen as clean in those countries, in some of the mainland Europe countries. So in France, I remember we used bottled water. I'm not sure in Germany what we did. You have to have a khanda. That khanda is a double-edged sword which you're going to fade in the batta, yeah, to make the Amrit. You have to have deg made or prashad, kara prashad, before the Amrit Sanchar. Now in all the Amrit Sanchars I've been involved in, we make the deg, we don't let the Granthis make it, because we don't know if the Granthi actually keeps his Rehat properly. Yeah, so we make the dig, we don't let anyone else make that dig for us for the Amrit Sanchar. You have to have a Sanera, which is a stone mortar, or you could say, if you think the other word for it is a Kunda, you know, you do rugarain, yeah. Now the reason you need that, yeah, you need the Kunda to put the batta on when you make the Amrit, because otherwise the batta, because it's circular, it's like semicircle in shape, it'll just keep moving when you make the Amrit. So you have to put it on a Kunda to kai it, yeah. You have to have 10 footy karpanna. Now, a lot of the Amrit Sanchars I've been involved in, the Sengs don't wear, Panch Pyare don't wear the 10 footy karpanna. Some of them, most do, but some don't as well. But you need 10 footy karpanna for different things in the Amrit Sanchar. Yeah, so the Peradar needs one. Also, the Taksal Panch Pyare have a karpan actually on the batta as well, which I'll explain afterwards. You need a kambal or a chadar that you're going to make the Amrit on. So you need a spread basically in front of Maharaj that you're going to bashar to do that. You need Vashanya on the stage or other places to put the samagri, all these things as well, which is sucha as well. Yeah. Then you need cloths or towels to clean the batte. Yeah. So to clean the batte, usually sand's used, and then you have to wipe the batte afterwards to use them for the Amrit Sanchar. And then you need sand to clean the sarablo. Yeah. To clean the sarablo, you have to use sand or another coarse sort of item, but at every Amrit Sanchar I've been to, we clean the batte again before we do the Amrit Sanchar, even if they're supposedly such. So you need Panch Pyare, a Granthi. Now the Granthi is seen on a par with the Panch Pyare in the Amrit Sanchar. So in a lot of Gurdwara and stuff, they always give the Panch Pyare Srope and stuff, and they don't give the Granthi Singh one. But the Granthi Singh, you can't do the Amrit Sanchar without the Granthi, because he has to take the Hukamname, and the Granthi is actually seen one and the same as the Panj anyway. Yeah, even though he does Granthi duty, but he's not seen as any different, and he has to have the same Rehat and Rani Bani as them anyway. The Peradar, like I've said before, the Peradar sometimes don't use someone from the Sangat, not necessarily within the Amrit Sanchar. So the Peradar, they do slack off sometimes, but in some other Amrit Sanchars in Jathapur, they make sure the Peradars Tiyar Bar Tiyar as well. You have to have Prakash of Guru Granth Sahib, you have to have the Deg ready. Yeah, you have to check that all these things are in place before starting the Amrit Sanchar. So you might have Baltiya with water in for the Amrit, Pani for the Amrit Sanchar. Then you might have to have water to clean the hands of the Sengs afterwards, because they might not use the tap water. So it's quite a lot of stuff that you have to have ready. Yeah, and it's not as simple as, oh, just turn up and get a batta and get a kanda, patase, and you're doing Amrit Sanchar. Because once you start, you'll realise that you need a lot of other stuff in terms of the smuggery. Yeah. Now what happens at the start of the Amrit Sanchar, again, this is the Daksal way. This is not necessarily the way that all Jathabandiya do it. So at the start of the Amrit Sanchar, there is a Peshi of the Panch Pyare first. So the Panch Pyare and the Granthi Singh come in Bana into Maharaj's Hajuri, they Matha take, and then the Panch Pyare, apart from the Jathadar, yeah, the Jathadar's Peshi is done first. So the Jathadar of the Panch Pyare, he stands in front of Guru Granth Sahib, and the rest of the Panch Pyare, so the four of them and the Granthi Singh, stand in Maharaj's Hajuri and then ask the Jathadar that you've come to do Amrit Sanchar di Seva. Do you do the Panch Baniya, the Sat Baniya, the Nitnem? Have you restrained from committing any of the Char Bajat Kretna? Do you keep your Panch Kakari Rehat? Tell us what you do, and if you follow this Rehat, and if you're married, does your wife do this as well? And the Jathadar has to answer that he does keep his Panch Kakari Rehat, he does his Nitnem daily, and that he hasn't committed any of the Char Bajat Kretna, and he's Sada Pullanhar, so he makes mistakes all the time, but Maharaj Kirpanal, he keeps the minimum Rehat. And then what they usually say if they're married is Singani Dasani Ansar Tiyar Bar Tiyar Hai. So that means basically, as far as I know, my wife, as far as she's told me, she's kept her Rehat. Because you never know with anyone in this world, if they actually are following the Rehat. So the person's actually made a declaration for their wife, but they're saying, according to what I know. Yeah? So that's the actually oath in Guru Granth Sahib Di Hajuri that the Jathadar has to make. Once the Jathadar passes that sort of oath, if he refuses and says he's not done it, then they might say, all right, you can't log in the server, simple as that, and they might get someone else in Bahana and try again. But most times that won't happen because you already know them before you start the Amrit Sanchar. But sometimes as well, some of the Sengs who lag in the Amrit Sanchar will declare other mistakes that they've made, yeah, or that the Bibek's a bit dilla, or that they're not keeping their full Rehat as they should do as Panch Pyare. So they might declare other things, but it's up to the Sengs if they're going to allow them to do the seva. Yeah. Then after the Jathadar has done his peshi, then what he does is he grabs a kirpan, nangi kirpan, 10 foot the. He goes in Maharaj Hajuri, then he does a peshi of the other 5, including the Granthi Singh. Yeah, and then they then all have to declare that they're doing that. So this is a Taksal thing as far as I know. I don't know if other Jathabandiyas do this in terms of the Panj Pyare, but what it does ensure by doing this as a process is that the Panj Pyare have actually declared in Maharaj Hajuri that they can do the seva. So there's no iota of a doubt. They've actually sworn oath to that. Yeah, and that's it, I think. Yeah. Anyway, now Sadai of the initiates. So the people who come to the Amrit Sanchar, the first thing you do is do Sadai of them. Sadai means like sort of purification, let's say, Hannah. Ablaki is the people who are taking Amrit, yes, so the initiates, yeah. Now, when you do the Sadai of the Ablakis, anything that anyone declares to you in the Amrit Sanchar as Panj Pyare, yeah, anything that they declare, any sin that they tell, yeah, if you, this might get confusing on the screen, yeah, but if any sin that they tell you, so if they tell you they've been homosexual, yeah, if you go outside of the Amrit Sanchar as one of the Panj Pyare and tell someone that that's what they've done, you get the fruit of that sin as well on you. Yeah, so it's not a joke hearing people's sins. Yeah, firstly you have to stand there, they have to declare their sins open-heartedly. Yeah, secondly you can't tell anyone ever outside of that Amrit Sanchar that this person came and this happened. And we know of Amrit Sanchars in the UK where people have gone, declared their sins, and then everyone in the Sangat knows afterwards what happened. Now the whole point of this process is that someone's coming like a confession, they're coming forward and admitting their sins, so they've come with Nimrata. In the same way, the Panj Pyare have a duty, and their duty band to never tell anyone those sins. And I'll be honest, I've done the seva, it's very hard listening to people declare their sins, because we're sinners ourselves as well, Hannah, even the Singhs who do the seva. Now, so is that clear? Yeah? Okay. Then the Sudai firstly is done of those taking Amrit for the first time. So they're called forward first, the people who are taking Amrit the first time. So they're asked, the Sangat's asked, who's taking Amrit for the first time, can you all come forward? Yeah? If there's married couples there, they can come forward. But then if there's people who are married, but the other partner hasn't come, they're told to wait first. Hannah? So again, this is according to the Taksal way. Other Jathabandiyas, so Kankeet and Jatha, what they do is they do their peshis singly. So they call each person into the room one by one to the Panj Pyare. So it's not done like in a Sangati roop. So this process is in front of everyone. But most Amrit Sanchars, they do it with all the Sangat there. Yeah, so people don't leave the room, they just do the Sadai in front of everyone. Now, they're called forward, so the people who take them at the first, and then they're asked, see again, like we said last week, Sri Guru Gobind Singh asked by their Singh, are you diseased? Have you come here because you're fed up of life or some enmity? Why are you offering your head? So in the same way, people who are taking Amrit for the first time are asked, are you under any duress? Have you come here or are you forced to take Amrit? Yeah, so they have to declare that they're not here under any duress and things like that. Are they willing to follow the Rehat? Yeah, so the Jathadar at that point might say, these are the Bajar Kretan, you have to keep the Panchakakari Rehat. Yeah, are you willing to follow that? Yeah, and that they know that their heads belong to Guru Sahib after this day. Yeah, and if ever the need arises for them to actually offer their head, so actually die for Guru Sahib, that their head has to be given. Yeah, so their head now belongs to Guru Sahib. Then if they agree to all that, they can take Amrit. So they then Mattate can agree to those things. So they're making an oath to Maharaj that we will follow this Rehat, and that's why we're taking Amrit. Now in the UK, sometimes you have kids in the Amrit Sanchars who don't understand English and things like that. You might have even Europeans or white people from the UK taking Amrit. So in those situations, we have to take them to the side and tell them in English, and that can be done. In terms of married couples, yeah, if a single person comes out of the couple, so the wife comes or the husband comes by themselves, yeah, Amrit may be refused. Yeah, it's simple as that. That's up to the Panj Pyare and their discretion. Yeah, if one partner is going to take Amrit, they have to agree that they're not going to eat jute. Yeah, so eat food which is eaten by the other partner. Yeah, or contaminated anyway, cross contamination. Yeah, with that person, with their husband or wife, and that they're not going to have any sexual relations with them from this point on until they take Amrit as well. Yeah. But even then, the Panj Pyare can still refuse to give that person Amrit. It's down to the discretion of the Panj Pyare. Because sometimes someone will come and you look at the person and you see that they're like really young, and then they're like arguing to take Amrit, but you're saying you ain't want to keep your Rehat. Have you got any kids? Yeah. So you can see in the situation sometimes some people you can tell that they're lying, that they won't keep it. So I know of one situation, I wasn't in the Amrit Sanchar, but I know of one situation, a woman came to take Amrit, and she argued with the Panch Pyare to take Amrit, and the Panch Pyare were like, you're too young, yeah, you're not going to keep the Rehat, you won't be able to do it. And she fought with them. She said, look, what if I die tomorrow, and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, so she put her violins out, they gave her Amrit, she walked out the Gurdwara, her husband, who was a mon, was waiting at the gate, she immediately grabbed his hand and started walking off with him. Yeah, the first thing of sex, yeah, is touch. So she's immediately holding his hand as soon as she walks out. You can say, all right, I might be exaggerating it, but do you really think she's going to keep her Rehat? As soon as she walked out the Gurdwara Sahib, she's holding his hand and walking off with him. Yeah? So people do these things, Hannah. I'm not saying she didn't keep her Rehat. I don't know what happened. But it's down to the discretion of the Panch Pyare of what they're going to do. Yeah? And I've been in Amrit Sanchars where some of the things were said to the Bibi, and this is not necessarily this situation, but they've told the person, go away and think about what you're telling us. You need to tell the whole truth. Yeah? And people have been refused to take Amrit again because we know they can't keep the Rehat. Yeah? Some of the Panch Pyare, they can read people's minds and stuff. That's why they're there. That's the whole purpose and function of them being there. Sometimes they won't even tell that they can, but some people can. Anyway, just to freak you out. Yeah? So the factors that they have to take in is age of the person taking Amrit. Can they keep the Rehat? Widows will be allowed to take Amrit by themselves. And then you get Sianiya Bibiya, yeah, who say, look, we're this old and whatever, and you know that they'll keep the Rehat, so they're allowed to take it. But the main thing is their Sharda, their faith in Maharaj, that's going to override everything. And Guru Sahib's Kirpa, if they're going to get Amrit that day. Yeah? Ideally, the couple should take it together because it doesn't cause no problems in the household or anything like that. Yeah? Or really, be Amritdari before you get married because then it doesn't cause any problems anyway. Theek ya? Alright. Those who come forward and are to take...
Should Amritdari marry an Amritdari?
Yeah.
How does that work? Because there's some that don't. And then
they should marry him, that's it, simple as that. We'll do that when we do the Anand Sanskar, but Amritdari should marry an Amritdari. Because otherwise you can't keep your Rehat. You're eating jute of an Amritdari. Do you get it? You can't, it's not allowed, Hannah. So if you go back to this, if you're not allowing a person to take Amrit because their partner's not taking it, how can you marry someone? Do you get it? So that's part of the Rehat, Hannah. So these people are married, but you're still not letting sometimes the one single partner take Amrit as well, Hannah. Anyway, now those who have come again to Pesh, so these are people who have come who've made a sin, who've committed a sin, who've come from Maafi. So these are people who are sometimes Amritdari already. So this isn't people who are new to take Amrit. They've come to get a Maafi, so they're admitting that they've made a mistake. And that's a big thing for someone to come and admit that they've made a mistake. They might know the Panch Pyare, they might not, yeah, but you're going into Sangat, and sometimes you don't know how the Amrit Sanchar is going to go. Yeah, we had one Amrit Sanchar at Plek Gurdwara some years ago, and the Jathadar, he just went for it in the Amrit Sanchar. I wasn't there, I was in the Gurdwara, but I wasn't in the Amrit Sanchar, and what he did was, he literally just shouted at everyone, said, why are you here, what you done? And then the people had to shout back, so everyone in the room found out what they'd done. Yeah? And he just did the Amrit Sanchar, like that's how he functioned in the Amrit Sanchar. But it probably made sure that the people didn't make the sin again, Hannah. But you don't know what's going to go on in there, Hannah. Most likely it won't, Hannah, so don't get scared, yeah? That was a one-off in the UK that happened. But anyway, yeah, you've come, or we've come ourselves, whoever it is, yeah, to ask for Maafi. So we're coming out of goodness in our hearts as well to an extent. We've committed a sin and we actually admit that we've done something wrong. Yeah? Now, what the Ablakis are told is you should declare all your sins without concealing anything. And if you do conceal something and don't tell the full truth, you're not going to get Maafi from Maharaj for everything that you've done. So, it isn't the job of the Panch Pyare to read your mind. It isn't the job of the Panch Pyare to force the truth out of you. Yeah? And the Panch Pyare, in someone in charge, might just say, you know what, just go, get out of here. Because the person's not telling the truth. That's not their job to tell them what they're doing. Yeah? But that's your function, or my function, any of us who committed a sin, to go there and tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Yeah, that's what we should be doing ourselves. And what the Jathadar the Panch Pyare says at this point is, if you don't declare it, then you're still baggy for that paap. So even if the Panch Pyare don't know that you haven't told the whole truth, Maharaj still knows, you still don't get maaf for that. Yeah, so you still don't get forgiven for that sin. Now what happens in the Amrit Sanchar, if the Ablakis are in the room in this situation, yeah, so if, say, Maharaj was here, the Panch Pyare are there, what they'd tell everyone else to do Satnam Vaheguru da Jaap loud. So when people come forward to do their peshi and tell their sins, no one else can hear what they're saying. Yeah. So it's a discrete process, so that everyone else can't hear. Like that one situation I just mentioned, that was a one-off, where it was done like that. But usually it's very discreet. So even to the extent that if a married couple comes, the husband won't know what the wife's declared, and the wife won't know what the husband's declared. But it depends on the Amrit Sanchar. Let me be very clear of where you go, or how they can conduct the peshi. So the Taksal Panj Pyare, the couple won't know what each other have declared to the Panj Pyare. They won't know. Yeah. Because what they'll do is, basically, the way they do it is, you got Maharaj Sroop here, you got the Panj Pyare there at the front of Maharaj. And what they'll do is they'll split into two sort of sets, 2 sengs on one side and 3 sengs on one side. And then they'll take the peshis. So 3 sengs will listen to one person, 2 sengs will listen to one person. Then they'll come together as Panj and then say, that person did this, that person did this. What do we say in terms of their Nityanem, or what we're going to give them for Sajja? And things like that. So they'll then confer to decide what to do with the person. Now at this point, depending on the Amrit Sanchar, especially with the Khand Ki Jatha and the Taksal Panj Pyare, you can go with any issue as well. It's not necessarily an Amrit Sanchar issue. You can actually go and ask any general Sikhi issue as well. You can do that. Yeah. Now at that point, so they'll confer and then come back together and then decide the Sajja that you're going to have. Now the Tanakah or the Sajja or the punishment that's given, yeah, it's done with agreement with the person who's committed the sin. So it's not just, oh, you've got to get up at 2 a.m. every day for the next 40 days, or you're not Maaf. Yeah? You look at the person, you look at how old they are, you look at how much Nityanim they can do or they can't do, and you look at their physical abilities to be able to do that, and then you discuss it with them. So even if the Panj Pyare agree that the person's going to have to do 40 Japji Sahibs, yeah, they might say to the person, can you do them? Do you go to work? How many hours do you work? So the 40 Japji Sahibs, instead of saying 7 days, they might say 14 days, or they might say 21 or 28, because the whole point is that you come and you actually are forgiven, rather than you're still punishable, so you can't do the Sajja. So I know of Amrit Sanchars in the UK where people have been given, like that example, you have to wake up 2 a.m. every day for 40 days, yeah, and the person can't do it. So they've been for a Maafi, they've got a Sajja which they can't complete, so they're no better off than they were when they started, so they still can't get Maaf. Yeah, so they're stuck in limbo. Yeah. So the whole point of this is to make it possible for the person to do the Tanakah. It isn't about watering it down, but it's making it possible. And the other thing is, yeah, you have to be consistent in your Sajja. You can't give this person more Sajja or that person more Sajja. So in the Amrit Sanchars I've been in, we usually agree 14 Japji Sahibs, 21 Japji Sahibs for one budget declared, for 2 you might give 40, you know what I mean? So 25, 50, you might do that. But it's consistently applied. There's no preference for anyone. It doesn't matter if it's your family member, it doesn't matter who it is, it doesn't matter if you know who they are, that doesn't come into any of the bearing. And once the ardas is done for the Amrit Sanchar, you can't call each other by your names. You have to say Singhji because you're in the Bana then. So you're one of the Panj Pyare. You're not no longer Harjinder Singh, Baldeep Singh. You're nobody like that. You're just a Singh who's doing the seva. So you lose your own identity as well in the Amrit Sanchar. That's the whole point of it. Yeah? Now, there's variations of how people do the Peshiyan as well. So how people do this process. So a lot of Gurdwara or a lot of Jathabandiyan, you only actually declare your sins to the Jathadar of the Panj Pyare. And he might come around to you in the Sangat, or you might just say it to him. Now the Taksal way isn't that, even though so-called Taksalis may do it that way in the UK, but it's not the Taksal Maryada to do that, yeah, just to the Jathadar, it's not the Maryada, yeah, because he doesn't discuss it then, the Jathadar doesn't discuss it with the rest of the Panj Pyare. So the Panj Pyare should be officiating, even though the Jathadar is seen as the leader of the Panj Pyare. In all the Amrit Sanchars I've done seva in, they're all seen as the same. And the only difference is the Jathadar holds a Kirpan sometimes and he might tell the Rehat. But other than that, anyone can do that seva. Huh? You've still been, Hannah. You got to think of it like that. We've still been to that Amrit Sanchar and done our peshi. That's up to them how they're conducting that in the Amrit Sanchar. So they're all Hajra in there. So the other Panj Pyare are still there. So they've agreed for the Jathadar to do that on their behalf. Do you get it? Yeah. So it still counts because you've gone with your sort of good nature in the sense that to declare it. So it doesn't matter. All I'm saying is it's better if the Panj do it. Do you get it? Yeah. That's all it is. But it's still acceptable. So it's not to say it's not wrong, Hannah. So I went pesh to the Kal Takht Sahib once and I spoke to the Jathadar and he went back and he still conferred with the rest of the Panj Pyare yeah, and he gave me a get out of jail ticket, and he gave me an option to take Amrit or not. I said no, all right, I'll just go into the pot, yeah. But the thing is, I'm not sure of the Nahang Singhs, yeah, but I'm assuming that they do all as sponge as well, Hannah. But it's just better. It's not right or wrong, Hannah. It's just a method's better, not rather than right or wrong, Hannah. Because they're harder. That's the main point. Is Maharaj is still harder, and they're all harder in the Amrit Sanchar. Yeah. Anyway, now some people and some Jathabandiyan, if someone's done a really bad sin, they tie their hands together and sometimes they blacken their face, and then they take them into the Sangat, into another Diwan. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that's completely wrong. Yeah, that's not Gurmat. Yeah, because firstly, the person's come to the Amrit Sanchar to get Maafi. Guru Sahib's Hajar there, Panj Pyare Hajar there, the Sangat from the Amrit Sanchar is Hajar there. So it's like us doing Amrit Sanchar in this room, and then someone comes to us and says, oh, I've committed adultery, yeah. I had sex with your wife. Yeah? No, I'm being serious, yeah? So he says to one of the Panj Pyare, I had sex with your wife. Yeah? So he might say, all right, I'm going to blacken his face now, tie his hands together, make him go into the Sangat, yeah? So rather than do it in here, take him into the other Diwan while the Diwan's going on, and then get the person to go on the stage and ask for Maafi from all the Sangat. So all the Sangat outside the Amrit Sanchar finds out. Now, the point is, what is the point of taking them out of this room? If this was the Amrit Sanchar da Kamara, when Guru Sahib's already here, the Panj Pyare already here, the person's come pesh already, and then the Sangat in the Amrit Sanchar, the Sad Sangat already there. So what's the point of taking them into another Diwan to show them up publicly when they've already come? The whole point of the Panj Pyare is Guru Sahib forgives everyone. That's the first thing. Guru Sahib is always merciful. Guru Sahib, yeah, forgave, yeah, people who came to kill him. Bende Khanu Bakshani. Yeah, Guru Sahib forgave, yeah, a Bibi who came to have sex with him and tried to do favour on him in Anandpur Sahib. Yeah, so Guru Sahib forgives the sinners of the sinners and the worst of the worst. So the point is, the person's come voluntarily to admit their sin. So why do we have to make them suffer more by taking them out into the Sangat? It doesn't matter what sin they've done, they'll still be forgiven. So I've been in Amrit Sanchars, I'm not going to lie, yeah, and someone's come and said something, I'm not going to say what, yeah, and I'm like, what's going on here? Yeah, and I've got quite angry, but the other Panj Pyare haven't noticed, and they've just taken it on the chin and just carried on as normal. Yeah, and I'm there, and I want to kick the person in. I'm not going to lie, yeah, I'm like, let's kick this person in, yeah, let's beat them up. Now the Panj Pyare have got hak to beat the person up if they want to beat the person up. But why just doing the Amrit Sanchar? Do you get it? Because if we enter this practice of doing this, yeah, then anyone who ever comes to us again and does the same sin, then we have to do to every single person. And that's not applied. That's the problem with it. So as a process, if you're going to do this and take someone outside into the Sangat to show them up even more, then you have to do it to every single person who does the same sin. It doesn't matter if the Sangat didn't know that the person committed the sin, but you have to do it to everyone. By doing this also, the person's sin comes out as well. It might destroy families because people might find out that they've been adulterous. Yeah, the whole point is everything happens in Guru Kar under Parda. The whole point is you actually, there's a Pankti ada Mohe Papi Parda Takle Hona. So what it means is basically I'm a Papi, I'm a sinner, cover my sins. Guru Sahib's function and job is to cover your sins because we're all sinners. Doesn't matter if we've done Panj Pyare, they say whatever, we're all sinners. Doesn't matter who we are, so we all commit sins. Theek ya? Is that alright? Anyway. Now Ardas to begin the Amrit Sanchar, so that's the Peshiyan done. So the people have come, they've admitted their mistakes, they've been given their Saja. Yeah. And then an Ardas takes place. Yeah. And before the Ardas takes place, you have to make sure that everyone's wearing Panj Kakar, that they've got them on. Yeah. And that they've all done Kesi Ishnan. Yeah. And still be such so they've not been to the bathroom for a number 2. Yeah. And if they have, then they have to do Kesi Ishnan again before the Amrit Sanchar. Yeah. Now the Ardas takes place, the Panj Pyare do Ramta the Ardas and ask Maharaj for Agya. The Granthi Singh takes a Hukamnama and then they tell the Ablakis that you must stand and look into the Bhatta. So the people who are taking Amrit have to look into the Bhatta and listen to the Bani. Yeah. And after the Hukamnama, the water is added to the Bhatta, and usually what they'll do is they'll sieve the water with a kapra. Yeah. So they'll put a kapra like a malmal white kapra around the Bhatta, and they'll put the water through that to make sure there's no impurities that can get through. Yeah. Now that you might think, well, the water's clean anyway, but as a practice, it's a good thing to keep going because just in case in the future you don't know what sort of jal you might use or something might get in there as well. So we continue doing that as well. The patasse are then added, yeah. So all the Panj Pyare add the patasse as well from the bag or whatever it may be, yeah. Now the first thing, yeah, on the left is going to read Japji Sahib. So the khandas are going to come round this way, yeah. So is it clockwise, anti-clockwise? Clockwise, isn't it? I think. But anyway, draw it. Is it that way? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Anti-clockwise, but it's round the batta, because the way you got to think of it, the batta's in front of Maharaj. The Panj Pyare have to sit in front of Maharaj without their pet. Yeah, so they sit this way like a semicircle, and it comes around that way. It doesn't matter. Anyway, what they have to then do when they're about to start the Amrit Sanchar, they have to ask for Agya of the Granthi Singh. So they have to ask for permission of the Granthi Singh to start the Amrit Sanchar. Before they ask for permission, they have to ask the Granthi Singh if he can see into the batta. Because wherever the Granthi is sitting, he has to see into the batta also and concentrate on the batta. And the Granthi Singh has to read the part along with the Panj Pyare. And if any of the Panj Pyare start forgetting the Bani or messing it up, so it does happen, yeah? So your odd body here or a line, Hannah. First, the Panj Pyare have to correct the Singh. Then after that, the Granthi Singh can shout his own, say this is the Bhankti or whatever, Hannah. So the Granthi Singh's officiating as well, Hannah. Now, Bir Asan. So the Panj Pyare sit in Bir Asan to make the Amrit. We haven't got our model here today, Hannah, Hartir Singh. Yeah? So it's left leg in, right leg up, yeah? I don't have to show it here because we can do it afterwards if you want, but my jeans are a bit tight today. But anyway, yeah? So you basically, your weight's upon your left leg like that, so you're sitting on that, and then your right leg's up, and your foot's down on the floor, Hannah. Now, Panj Pyare sit in that position to make the Amrit, yeah? It's a warrior stance. Everyone but the SGPC does it that way, right leg up. So the SGPC in the Godhar in India, so Takht Sahibs and stuff as well, in Keskar Sahib and Damdama Sahib and Akal Takht Sahib, they do it the other way around. So they have the left leg up and the right leg down. Now, the argument is, my kirpan's here, yeah? So if I'm sitting in Bir Asan and my left leg's up, if I get into a problem, that's why your left leg has to be down and your right leg up, so you can still reach across and pull your Shastar. Because the warrior stance, what's the point of putting your left leg blocking your Shastar? You can't get to it. So that's where logically it doesn't make sense to do it the way that the Shomani Committee are suggesting. In sort of the internet, when you search it, you'll get a lot of people saying this, it's left leg up as well. But when you think of it logically, if it's a warrior stance and you're drawing your Shastar, then it's got to come from that side unless you're left-handed. Yeah? But other than that, there's no other reason to do it like that. I've looked at the sprinter stance just in case, yeah? But the sprinters do it the left leg up as well, yeah? But that's to project their right leg forward when they run. But anyway, park that one, yeah? And the Panj Pyare read the Baniya turn by turn while steering the Khanda in the Batta, yeah? And the Taksal, what they do is they have a 10-footy kirpan. So the Singh holds the Khanda in one hand, and then he holds a 10-footy kirpan, and then the mutta of the kirpan is on the edge of the Batta, and it's kept on the edge of the Batta throughout the Amrit Sanchar. So when the Singh's finished the first Bani, he passes the Khanda along, and then he moves the kirpan along the edge of the Batta and passes to the next Singh. So they have the Nangi kirpan out the whole of the Amrit Sanchar, and even the Peshis are done with that as well. Now that's the Taksal way. Majority of Panj Pyare won't have a Nangi kirpan out. They won't do it, yeah? Most of them just stick to a single Khanda by itself, yeah? The Buddha Dal, what I've been told, they have a kirpan actually in the Batta with a Khanda. So what they do is they have like a kirpan about this big, about 12 inches or something, and they hold the kirpan in the Batta like that, and then have the Khanda there as well. So that kirpan is constantly with its knock down in the Batta throughout the Amrit Sanchar, and they pass both on like that. So that's how the Buddha will do it from what I know. Yeah, I could be wrong. So if you find out other than that, tell me. Now some people say size of the Khanda. So in 1699, you can get the photos on the internet, yeah. They say the Khanda that Guru Gobind Singh used, the 10-foot one, so it's about this big, yeah. And then the argument is, why don't you now use a 10-foot Khanda when you do an Amrit Sanchar? As far as I know, I think Anandpur side they still might, yeah. But what you got to take into account, yeah, is if you use a 10-foot Khanda, yeah, firstly, it's very easy for you to sit in Bir Asan, yeah. It's easy because you're half standing up, yeah, basically. Because the 10-foot Khanda, you're going to have to hold it over the Batta, so you're going to have to half stand up or kneel up, Hannah. So you're not actually fully in Birasan, but that's allowed. Yeah, what you have to realise is you can only use the 10 foot the khanda if the batta's that big as well. So you have to have that many people taking Amrit, then it's functional. Otherwise, if you only got like 30 people taking Amrit, what's the point of having a 10 foot the khanda and having a batta this big, and how much Jalan Patasi you're going to have in there? Yeah, so it's proportional. So Guru Sahib, when he did the Amrit Sanchar, last week I said 50,000, I found it's actually 80,000 in that account. They say to Amrit. Some accounts say 20,000. But even then, yeah, you got to think about it. Then for the khanda, how big was the batta? Yeah, so that's why the khande are small nowadays for the Amrit Sanchar, because the batte are not that big. So if you get an Amrit Sanchar and you have 10,000 people taking it, yeah, fair enough, then you can use it then for the khanda, you can do a huge batta. That's fine. Yeah, but it's proportional, that's why they don't do it, yeah. So the Baniya, Japji Sahib, Jap Sahib, Swigye, Japa Sahib and Anand Sahib. Now, the debate is, how long should the Japa Sahib be? A lot of Jathabandi in the world do 25 pauri of Japa Sahib, and they don't do the 26th and the 27th pauri. Yeah? Now, the reason they do that is because they don't believe this 26th and 27th pauri is written by Guru Gobind Singh. Yeah? They don't believe it's Bani, basically. That's why they stop at the 25th pauri. There is no other reason to be doing that. Yeah? But it's also to discredit the lake which is called Charitra Pakyan Granth. Yeah? Now, Charitra Pakyan Granth, basically stories and teachings about deception in the world and living in the world. Yeah? A lot of it is sexual stories. Yeah? But it's also about how to use deception for the betterment of the world. Yeah? It makes up, they say, a third of Dasam Granth. So it's quite long as a lake. I've read half of it. I couldn't read any more of it, so I stopped. Yeah? So it's not necessarily for everyone, I'll be clear about that. If you're going to get married, yeah, and you're about to get married, you might want to read it then, yeah, because it might depress you completely about getting married, which is a good thing, yeah. Now, many question the authenticity of Charitra Prakyan. As far as I'm concerned, Maharaj wrote it all, and they're wrong. And all the Mahan Vidwans of our Qawm have always said it's Guru Gobind Singh's Grit, yeah. So any Mahan Vidwan has always said that Guru Gobind Singh wrote Charitra Prakyan Granth. Now, Charitra Prakyan Granth, so what it is, it's got a lot of bad stuff in there written about the world, but Guru Gobind Singh wrote that to teach us that this is how bad the world really is. And then it finishes with Japa Sahib. So after all the Gandagi of the world, at the end of it, Guru Gobind Singh says, save us. So it's a benti, that's what Japa is, it's a benti, it's a supplication to say, save us from all this. Yeah, save us from all this destruction in the world. So that's why we read Japa Sahib. So the Japa Sahib, so the people who question Charitra Prakyan Granth, so we don't believe the start part, but we believe the end Japa Sahib because it's nice and it's saying, please help me in the world, destroy my enemies. So they like the nice part, but they don't like the stuff that precedes it, yeah? So that's their argument, yeah? Now the problem is, they won't read, yeah, these Bhanktiyan. So this is the 26th body of Japa Sahib and the 27th body, yeah? Because it says, Kripa kari hum par jagmata, Granth kara puran subrata, yeah? Jagmata, some of them say that's referring to a Devi, yeah, or a goddess, let's say, Hannah, or a deity. So they say that's wrong, firstly. Well, Jagmata, Pavan Guru Pani Pita, Mata Tart Mahat, yeah, Jagmata just means mother of the world. Who's the mother of the world? God. So it doesn't necessarily refer to a Devi, yeah, that's just the art of what you're going to use. Anyway, Granth Karapuran Subrata, I've completed this Granth on this Shobharata, on this auspicious night. What's the Granth? Charitra Prakyan Granth. So they don't read this, because if they read this, then they have to accept that they believe in Charitra Prakyan Granth. So that's why they don't read it. Kelebek Sakala Deheko Harta Dust Dokyan Kosha Karta. By reading this, all your Kelebek, all your Papa Nas. Yeah, so those who don't read this, I don't know if they get the Papa Nas, that's up to them. Yeah. Siri Astoj Jape, the Allah Puran Kara Granth Takala. Yeah. Siri Astoj, that power of the sword which is God, yeah, when He was merciful upon me, Puran Kara Granth Tatkala. Then I finished this Granth quite quickly. Yeah. Man Banshat Fal Pave Soy Dukhnat Se Biapat Koi. That person who reads this Bani, they will get whatever their mind desires. Yeah. Dukhnat Se Biapat Koi. They won't get any dukh in the world, any pain or suffering. Then after that you get this, the Aril. Yeah. Now the Aril is full of var. So basically a person who's mute can start speaking by listening to this Bani. Yeah. A person who can't, who's stupid and mood, yeah, Chitalai Chatartaya Vida become intelligent by reading this Bani, yeah, Dukh Dard Po Niknat Nar Ke Rahe. Anyone who reads this, their dukh, their pains, their fears will all go. Ho jo yaki ek bar chopei ko kahe. If they read chopei once with devotion, all those things can go. Yeah, so that's the power of chopei sahib. But these people are not reading these panktiyan. Yeah. Anyway, now this is where it finishes, Anna. Chopei sambat 17 sahs par nijay ard sahs par 3 ke hijay padro sudi astmi rawara tira satadra granth sudara. So the Taksal Panj Pyare finish here. Yeah. Now their belief is that the Chopei side finishes there, and these two panktiyan which are afterwards, yeah, their belief is this is finishing off Charitar Pakhyan Granth, so they don't read these two panktiyan. But really, I don't see why they can't read the last two panktiyan as well. Yeah, give me 1 minute. Yeah. So the thing is, they miss off these two panktiyan, then they read the Swaya and the Dohara. The Swaya and the Dohara are not part of this Chopei sahib here. They're seen as Mangal, so we might read the Slok Pavan Guru Pani Pita at times. Yeah. So they read the Swaya and the Dohara as well. Some other Panj Pyare would read up to the Aril, or only read the 27 Pauriya and not read this. But if you actually look at Chopei sahib in Dasam Granth, it actually finishes here. You can say there or here, but that's where it finishes. Now when you look at Dasam Granth and these panktiyan at the end, yeah, you get differences. So you get It Sri Chitra Pakhyanne, Tre Charitar Mantri Poop Sambadhe, 405 Charitar. Some of them say 404 Charitar. So if you look at this pankti on the internet and on search engines, you'll say 404, not Panch. Yeah? And what some Vidvan say is the 405th Charitar is missing from the Granth. There's a ang missing. Yeah? And then this as well, from what I know, I don't know if it's right or wrong, but we read it off a June when we read it in Eras. But in the Dasam Swarups that I've looked at now on the internet, it says Samapatam. Yeah? So I'm not sure about this, but it said that on the internet. But we read it off a Jew at this point. Yeah. So again, this is just about the date and time when Chopei sahib was written and finished, isn't it? Yeah. All right. Anand sahib. Yeah. Some people believe that you should read Panj Pauriya and the last Pauri on the Bhatta. So you read 6 Pauri of Anand sahib. So the SGPC in their Rehat Maryada, in the original one, I found 1950 print, yeah, of Punjab Digital Library. They say that you should read Share Pauri and Anand sahib on the Bhatta, not 40. So the whole of Anand sahib is 40 Pauri really. So how they do Share Pauri is they read the first 5 and the last one to make it 6 Pauri. Now, as far as I know, you should always read Charlie Pauri in an Amrit Sanchar. Yeah. Tradition of reading 6 Pauri, it is mentioned in Rehat Naam and stuff, but it's usually to do like Samapti of a Diwan. Yeah. But Anand sahib really is always read for the Deg, the Pog. That's what it's really read for in terms of Diwans. Yeah. But there's traditions of reading Share Pauri and 40 Pauri. So the SGPC promotes Share Pauri. But in nearly all the Amrit Sanchars that I know in India, when the Sikhs do the Amrit Sanchar, even though the SGPC is saying it, a lot of the Panj Pyare that I know in India who do this seva, they still read Charlie Pauri themselves, even though the Rehatnama might say 6. So they read all 40 anyway still. Yeah? So you get that as well, you get that conflict in the Amrit Sanchar, because what you'll get as well with the Shromani Committee, you'll have missionary sayings in the Panj Pyare and Taksali sayings as well. And the Taksalis, if they get their way, they'll read the 40 Pauri. They won't allow them to do it with 6, although Janake sit on the Anand side to make sure they do it. Yeah? So you got that going on as well. So even though the SGPC might say that, a lot of the Amrit Sanchars in India, they will still read Charlie Pauri, which is a good thing, which it should be anyway. All other Jathabandiya, as far as I know, everyone else reads Charlie Pauri. It's only the SGPC who promotes Share Pauri. Yeah? Now what you have to think about as well, when you make Deg or Kara Prashad, you're supposed to do Charlie Pauri and Anand sahib for the Pog, not Share Pauri. So what should happen is, you should bring the Deg into the Diwan and then do the part separately for that. So Singh might sit near the Bhatta and do it like that. Yeah? But then, if you think about Akhand parts, why do we always do Charlie Pauri and Akhand parts? Because we know that Charlie Pauri has got more Mahatam, so we read Charlie Pauri and the Akhand part, the Pog, we all do. Now those Charlie Pauri, I think it's a good thing to read it out loud. So the Taksalis at the Barsi and stuff in the UK have stopped doing it out loud, which sometimes leave the Sangat confused. So they think, when did you do an Anand sahib? Yeah, which I think is better to do out loud so everyone knows that you did it. Yeah, but anyway, why not for the Amrit Sanchar? It doesn't make sense, to be fair, in terms of our traditions, why you wouldn't do. Because if you think it's a Mahan Karaj, so you read the full Bani. In the Taksal Amrit Sanchars that I've been involved in, we read 3 Anand sahibs. So 40 Pauri on the Bhatta, but then for the Deg and for the Smapti, the Ardas, we do 3 separate Anand sahibs as well. So the Bhatta, you have 40 Pauri anyway with the Sengs, but then a separate Anand sahibs are done. 3 Anand sahibs, you look at the Rehatnama and history and stuff, if you do 3 Anand sahibs, you can get any desire fulfilled. That's what the Rehat is. And if you get the Panj saying to do the Ardas for that, it's definitely going to happen. Yeah, so the 10 Anand Sahibs are done partially for the Mafi of the Ablakis as well, and for the Amrit Sanchar. So 10 Anand Sahibs are always done as well in those Amrit Sanchars, in the Taksal ones. I'm not sure about anyone else. The Panj Pyare and 10 Guru Sahibs in the Amrit Sanchar. So the 10 hands on the Batta, that's the 10 Gurus' hands on the Batta in terms of the Panj Pyare. Yeah, 10 eyes looking into the Batta, that's 10 eyes of the Guru Sahibs looking into the Batta. Yeah, oh, I've done a repeat here, 10 hands, Anna. Now, those with physical deformities are not allowed to do seva in Panj Pyare, yeah? So this should be 10 ears, sorry, Anna, as well, yeah? But the point is, anyone who's got a physical deformity, so if you've got a cut finger, yeah, or you've got a physical deformity, you can't do seva in Panj Pyare. It's not allowed, yeah? So some people might do it, but as a practice, it's frowned upon, you shouldn't do it. So the Panj Pyare shouldn't be netraheen or anything, yeah, they shouldn't have any physical deformity in them, Anna. And so even to the extent that some people say, even people who got a lung, who got a limp, shouldn't lag in Panj Pyare as well. Yeah. So that's that. Alright. Amrit Chakona. So after the Amrit's made, they do an ardas. The Panj Pyare pick up the Batta and do an ardas. So in the Pratan Rehatname that I've read now over the last few weeks as well, they say that actually you pick up the Batta and do the ardas. So they're supposed to lift it up as well. And it's quite hard to do at that point because you're sitting in Birasana and your legs might be asleep and then you stand straight up with the Batta. Yeah. So they have to pick up the Batta and then do an ardas. If you think of it in the past, it's probably not physically possible. If you've got thousands of people taking Amrit and you're 10 foot of the Khanda, you probably won't be able to pick up the Batta. Yeah. So it depends how big the Amrit Sanchar is. Now, so they do the ardas, the Hukamnama is taken again, and then they start shakan the Amrit to the Sangat. Some Panj Pyare will still stay in the Batta and do it from there, so they can't keep just to do it like that. So the Panj Pyare stay in the Batta and then give Amrit from there. Majority of Panj Pyare and Amrit Sanchars across the world, what they'll usually do is get a table of some sort, put the Batta on top of the table, and then shakar the Amrit in lines. So only one or two of the Panj Pyare actually give the Amrit to the people taking it. They can't keep just to do it with all 5 staying on the Batta and they give it from there, so all Panj Pyare give it, but a lot of won't do that, yeah? Now you have take 5 handfuls, so your right hand on top of your left. So you have to sit in Birasana as well, in front of the Batta. And then the Panj Pyare will put the Amrit into your hands and then say drink it and then say Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh, and then you say the Fateh back. So it's done like that, 5 handfuls, 5 times in your eyes and 5 times in your case. Yeah, so you have to actually undo the star and make your case nange for that to happen. Yeah, I've covered that. Historical sources, even that Sant Gurbachan Singh in Gurbani Bardarpan from Goj Katha, that also says that Guru Gobind Singh gave the Mool Mantar and the Gurmantar on the Batta to the Panj Pyare. So it was given there and then. Yeah. So they can't keep them just again, they'll give the Gurmantar on the Batta. Yeah. But most Jathabandiya won't give the Gurmantar straight away, they'll give it separately after on the Mool Mantar. Yeah. But anyway, Gurmantar Naam and Naam Dir is this thing, yeah. So Vaheguru Gurmantar hai jap home mein koi, yeah. So Vaheguru is the Gurmantar, that's the thing that we're supposed to meditate upon all times, yeah. That's the Gurmantar. So that's the mantra the Guru is giving to us, yeah. So it's the word Vaheguru, yeah. Mool Mantar is also given in the Amrit Sanchar to the Sangat. So it doesn't matter if they give it to Guru Prasad and Nanak Sipi Sache, they give it as simple as that, yeah. But the Mool Mantar is given to help you meditate as well. So the Mool Mantar, it helps you think of God and get back into the meditation of Gurmantar. Now the Panj Pyare, when they tell you what the Gurmantar is, they infuse all powers of it into you. It's simple as that. It doesn't matter if they sit on the Batta and put their hands on your head. It doesn't matter if they do it from Maryada Hajuri, yeah. They're Panj Pyare, they put in that Naam into you. It doesn't matter what the method is, yeah. No method is supreme to any other method, yeah, because the Naam supreme. No one in Sikh is in any argument to say that any method supreme. Yeah, the method that is supreme is love and pyar, nothing else. Yeah. Doing Simran with your breath is a very good technique. Bhai Rantir Singh written in his books that you do Wahi and you do Guru out. He's written in his books openly. Yeah. So it's a good method to do that because what it does, it stops, it internalize the Simran into you and stop you doing Paap. So it's a very good method to do Simran with your swas. But there isn't one method, there's 7 methods to do that with your swas. So to argue that our method is the best one and no one else has got it because only our Panj Pyare give it, that's completely against Gurmat. Yeah. So it doesn't matter who your Panj Pyare are, if they give you Naam, you've got all the powers of Naam invested in you. Yeah. And you don't need to take Amrit again. So some Jathebandi will say, you haven't got Naam of us, you haven't got Naam Dir of us, so you have to take Amrit again. So when you go pesh to them, they give you the method and they give you full Amrit again. So basically they said you didn't take Amrit, even though you made no mistake. Yeah, this does go on, but I had to say it. Anyway, now it gets better, yeah, each one of these slides towards the end. Amrit for women and girls, you're not allowed. Alright girls, no Amrit for you lot. It's never happened in Sikh history, so you shouldn't have Amrit. Yeah? So some people argue that Khande da Batta was never ever administered to Bibiyan in Sikh history. And what they argue is that no historical source mentions females, calls Bibiyan in any sense or form. Now all the Rehat were written by Sikhs. Yeah? So they mention the word Singh. They don't mention the word Gaur. Yeah? So they're arguing basically that Khande Batta da Amrit was only made for men. That's their argument. Yeah, it was never made for women, and women were never supposed to take it. Yeah. Last week we mentioned the brass plates that they found at Keskar Sahib, which mentions the names of the Matawa, Mata Nanaki Ji, Mata Gujari, and that they took Amrit and their names with Kaur on them. Yeah. Now those brass plates have been lost in history, so that's the only piece of proof we had, and conveniently it's gone missing, so we can't even prove that. Yeah. Now the biggest argument in all this is the 10 gurus gave Amrit to everyone, so males and females. So Charna Amrit, there's no way in history that anyone argues Charna da Amrit wasn't given to Bibiyan. Even Guru Gobind Singh gave it to Bibiyan. Yeah. So if Guru Gobind Singh is going to set up a permanent structure for the Sikh Panth after himself going to Sachkhand, why on earth would he then stop the pratha of the 10 gurus of giving Amrit to Bibiyan as well and making them Sikhs and not give it them? It just doesn't make logical sense. Yeah? And why they would do that. Now a historian might argue with me and say, well, you're wrong because historically you can't prove it. Yeah, we can't historically prove a lot of stuff. Yeah, but it just doesn't make no sense at all. So historically, now what then they started doing, this is when it gets better. Yeah, so their argument is, the people who believe in this, yeah, their argument is that we started Kirpan da Amrit then for Bibiyan. Yeah. So at Hajur Sahib, yeah, at Tak Sahib, one Singh prepares the Amrit for the Bibiyan. So when the Bibiyan take Amrit there, it's one Singh, not Panj Pyare. And that one Singh, yeah, he reads the Bani. And Buddha Dal, when they do the Amrit Sanchars, Buddha Dal in the Nahangs, they do it with all Panj Pyare, but only one Singh reads the Bani as well. So the two organisations who do it is Buddha Dal and Hajur Sahib. Hajur Sahib, I know for a fact now 100%, what they do is they read Japji Sahib, the first body of Jap Sahib and the last body of Jap Sahib, and Share body and Anand Sahib. Yeah, so that's the only Bani that they read on that Bhatta, and they do it with a Kirpan or a Khanda. Yeah, now what have I got here? Yeah, now what they argue is that Baba Ram Singh of the Namtaris, and you'll find this on the internet, the Namtaris openly say this as well. Yeah, they say in 1863, yeah, so that's like 163 years later after the Amrit Sanchar, the first one ever. They say, the Namtaris, that Baba Ram Singh conducted the first ever Amrit Sanchar in which Bibiyan were allowed to take Amrit. Yes, yeah, so openly on the internet you'll see that. That's what the Namtaris put on their websites as well. And they say that he said this is wrong and we should give it. So they celebrate the fact that they started it. That's what they say, yeah. But the Rehat is given the same. So even if these people are saying that give Kirpan Amrit to Bibiyan or girls, the Rehats are saying, so they still have to keep Panj Kakar, they still have to abstain from Char Bajar Kreta. Yeah. Now what it's argued historically with these people who believe in this, that Bibiyan should get Kirpan Amrit, what they argue is that Guru Gobind Singh never gave Khande Batte da Amrit to Bibiyan because it was made for Surme and the Singhs and for them to fight and die and be the vanguard of the Sikhs. Yeah. So what they argue is that the women were left in a village at one point and the Singhs were in the jungles hiding, and the women that village got attacked. And when that village gets attacked, the women fought back and fought like men. And then the Singhs felt guilty, saying that we don't even give them Amrit, so we should start a ceremony for them. So what they say is, we didn't go against Guru Gobind Singh's Rehat and give him Khande Batte da Amrit, so we started this Kirpan da Amrit. Yeah? So that's what they argue, yeah. Now, logically speaking again, if Guru Gobind Singh didn't do it, why you started it for? Stick to what Guru Gobind Singh's done then, and don't give it to Bibiyan. Yeah? Just don't do it. Yeah? Because the other argument they put in the books and stuff as well, when I've read about this, they've said as well that anyone who takes Amrit, Khande Bhatt da Amrit, should be allowed to do seva in the Panj Pyare, and Bibiyan are not allowed to take Amrit for that reason, because women can't do Panj Pyare in the seva. So it's like a circular argument. So you can't take it because otherwise you'll be able to the seva, and you ain't supposed to be able to the seva. So that's one of the arguments they give as well. Now nearly all Jathbandiyya disagree with this. So even the other Nahang Dal, so Tarna Dal doesn't agree with the above, nor does the Bidhi Chand Dal, yeah, nor does the Taksal, nor does anyone else really, yeah. But they then argue, these people, Hajur Sahib and Buddha Dal, they say that was the history. So they then even go to the extent of saying that Baba Ram Singh was kicked out the Qawm for doing this Amrit Sanchar, the first one. Now what you got to realise, yeah, is whoever controls Gurdwara, they implement the Rehat that they believe in. So if the Buddha Dal or the Nahang Singhs were in control of Gurdwara Sahibs at that time, they would have implemented the Rehat that they believed in, yeah, and that's what continued, because that was a prevalent view. So if you look at now, if you look at any religious education text, you'll find the SGPC Rehat being given as D1, just because SGPC at the moment control the Gurdwara in Punjab. Yeah, tomorrow I take over, I could implement my own Rehat and just make a new one up, yeah, and that will then become prevalent. So it depends on who controls the institutions, yeah. Then this goes again back to who do you believe in and what Jathabandi do you believe in. So people who say that Taksal's got no history, without the Taksal backing this view on Amrit, you've got nothing backing it up historically, because the Taksal are the ones who are saying Sina Basina, we've carried on, yeah, and these Dals, yeah. Anyway, Casteism in Amrit Sanchars as well, yeah. So as far as I know, I might be wrong, all the Nahang Dals are Casteist in the Amrit Sanchars, yeah. So they will give Mazhabi Sikhs, Chure, Chamar, whatever they are, and all the lowest caste Shuddhars, yeah, they'll give them Amrit in a separate batta. They won't give them from the same batta, so they won't drink from the same batta, yeah. So they're given a separate Amrit. This is from what I've learnt, yeah. I could be wrong, so please do correct me if I'm wrong with anyone, yeah. At Hajur Sahib, everyone drinks from the same batta, and Red Pai Chopa Singh's Rehat number 10, he says in there anyway that everyone's the same, Anna. But then he does go on to say also, but you should marry in caste, not out of caste, but we're all the same. But anyway, yeah. Now, there's also been incidents of Majbi Panj Pyare as well. So they've actually had Amrit Sanchars for the lowest caste with Panj Pyare from that caste as well. So there's complete separate Amrit Sanchar as well. That's also happened. Yeah. So this is also completely wrong. Yeah, you don't have to go to the Naam. It's simple as that. It's in Gurbani, it's wrong. Yeah. Jaat na garb na kareo koi. That's what it says. Gurbani is basically don't do hankar of your jaat. Yeah. So this is completely wrong. Yeah. And this happens in Amrit Sanchars. And then, to top it all off, all the original Panj Pyare were from different castes. And from what I know, one of them may be classed as a Majbi, or a low caste as well. So are they going to kick him out of the Panj Pyare? He's already done it. Yeah. So